It has been 5 years since families were torn from their lives before they could return from daily tasks, before harvesting the sesame and sorghum they planted, while their homes were left open and their possessions scattered. The people of Western Tigray were violently displaced by invading forces, forced to flee in all directions. Over the years, while days have turned into weeks and weeks into months and years continue to pass, we witness many struggling to adapt and survive. The hardworking farmers who rise and set with the sun, the nurturing mothers who once sustained entire families, and the displaced people of Western Tigray, who are some now in Sudan, others scattered across different parts of Tigray, are enduring unimaginable hardship. Entire families have been split into 3 or more places. Meanwhile, others who remain under the control of invading forces continue to face arbitrary detention, killings, and relentless suffering. Every day, they suffer from hunger and illness, curling into themselves in pain. Counting the days of loved ones in these tents has become a tragic routine after living in displacement for 4 years without seeing their homes.
ደቅና ህፃውንቲ ተወዲኦም ዘይፀገቡ ወዲ 8 ዓመት ወዲ 9 ዓመት በረኻ ዝተረፈ ኣነሕሽ ምክንያቱ ርዕስ ዓለም ኣለሁ እዚ ዘይረኣየ መንግስቲ ግን ንሕና ከብድና ይበልዐና መንግስቲ ኣሎ ድዩ ከብስሩ ንምዃን
ክንደ ምሪትና ንኣት
We once produced enough to help others in need. Now we're stuck in the mud, unable to help even ourselves.
4 ዓመትና ጌርና ሓይ ሓምሻይና ንኸደለና
It's been 4 years and we're now approaching a 5th rainy season, still without shelter. No one seems to care. We were promised every June that we'd return to our homes. The interim government recently said we'd be back in 3 months, but it's been over 40 days with no progress. Life here is unbearable. I've been prescribed 310 pills just to manage my blood pressure. The entire community is in a critical state. Each day our suffering grows. As the 5th rainy season nears, we are not recovering. We are deteriorating. Salaklakha is battered by strong winds. It's a place filled with elderly people and the unwell. There are 60,875 displaced people here, including over 3,802 families, refugees with no means to support themselves.
ካልኣዩ ዲሳርሳዩ ሄድና ኣሎ አረ በስር አብይ አውለ ይድቅስም ከመገራ ምን ታገ መረቀስ ይብለኝ አራት ይብለኝ
ሁሉ ጸገምኒ የሞሊኡ قطر صحاي لي تقري لعلم ما تحت ما يتعالي خناوزي بزح صقم يصحنا الله تاي زي الله انتي كلاوزيا تري وادي لهم من قطري اساتن ولالتي قصل نوعل صلال يله دغه مصلل يلا ليتي ما يمص تري والهم تابوتا كم زايلنا انا ثلاثه معلتن انا ليتن قطر نحراستا نقدف كم زايلنا تጨبطنا انا هنا محمشت عمته زي اودي قطري والهم كم عنጨتنا قيصا قطري توص ليتي توص ليتي قطري هاوس تطوعل ليتي قري كيتنقسقس يتنقسقس من ينقسقس ساسو كيهلوا سو زيلا تخوين لكم نا سفرنا ندو سدنا نحنا صقيمنا دقنا قديفمنا تقاليسم تسويهم نحنا زي اتدربينا من قلص يبلنا حي ليتن قطرن ليتي قري قطر صحي ندينا نموت لنا نحنا تخوين لكم عدنا سدنا انت زي كوين دما او نقط زله بوتا او زحشو بوتا قرو ندو او نفاشا زلو بوتا او صلال زلو بوتا او نقط زله بوتا تريو والله ما اني اوهي وهي ولا غزا يله برخا يله زوركم تيراهم ما خيتخدو
انا حمامتي 9 رسي حيزن زغازي بوزيو بكله ماي يزاتو اظن هنا وحدنا مسماماتنا عرسنا يكون وحدنا سيغنا نترنا لها هنا دا اظن نتزلا ريز زيس يكر حمل حساس نحزو ونس تري لها ريو زيس تري له وزير بقري بلد وزير تري لها زي قاضي تقدر تزوحت الله يكر جمعت حتى حقريك انا حتى نص جمعت هاتي خير يخلي زنجرها بنا من صحيح بنا ترى من صحنا يا هذانا يا من صحنا يا من صحنا هايدن هنا يقال ما ترى لها الصرف ماشي من يركزوا قناه ربيز جاي سلام تلفنوا بالصرف هو واحد نرو ناس بطوط إنه عمز له وطن بك كما زال سلم وطن قال على حذا عبيين أرادي تنزنيا أي وطن.
As the dry season ends and rain clouds begin to gather, thunder signals the coming rains. Farmers elsewhere prepare their tools for cultivation, anticipating a productive season. But for the displaced farmers of Western Tigray, who have lived in tents for 5 years after being torn from their homes, the rains bring only fear and uncertainty. Instead of sowing crops, they worry about their bed, the storm, their food, and their clothings.
أربعة عامات حمشت عامات هجر الله صح مسكر سبح زبس قني ما يدبن من تتفلع ويتاي معاري تما يجد الله كوي نزمر كوي نايل معت كوي كي وقع قن حنا نفرح عدهم نسدنا ولنا أبيت سدنا أيام سدنا أيام تتفق سلازين حنا تا أيناني أنا دعي
بناي زجاجر حيلن هزم قلن.
We're surviving only through the grace of God and the compassion of the people of Magala. Not a single government official has come to ask about our situation. If the government still exists, it should come and see us. Our people are in grave danger. There are more than 6,500 families here. Over 31,119 individuals living in a Sawa-Akari camp. Many are chronically ill, including vulnerable women, pregnant women, and those requiring maternal care. The conditions are dire. People are dying daily. Many suffer from diabetes, rely on HIV or blood pressure medication, or are elderly or disabled and bedridden. Some are completely alone, with no caregiver. Many families are separated. Mothers remain here while their children are in Sudan, separated for 5 years in the very country they still call home.
زم كلهم زرودنا زنوبر يبلنا نحجي كفينا إذا اللي بطعمي خفينا كرمت خوينو بتشكا حاجاي خوينو بنفاس كبلعنا مو بتمي كبدنا صقي منا إذا اللو زم حواتنا
تاوز جزا عزقت وحيد وان وطين زخدا الله حيد زي اللي أنا أزي أخافينا زني أنا أمبر وطين زخدا الله
حيال ما يوقعوا بمن أنا ورا حادث وترفن دوينا نحن زعنا دوينا أمتى دوينا لزي تو حيد شعوصنا حيدنا صدق حيس كنا صلين دل سوم زيكون كن كنس عند اللي نحن وزي بصراحة فتح صورنا عند اللي ما زي سوم زيكون صوزين كنين دلين ولا لو عنا
أيتوا حيد أما شو ما كتشونغو مس حدركوس.
I was scooping out rainwater from inside the tent, completely overwhelmed. By morning, I had caught malaria. Neighbors helped carry soil to try and block the flood. I couldn't afford to go to a clinic. Water leaks from above and below. The tent is covered in plastic, but it still floods.
هزو تجراي هزو مقرب جزانا هالله انجرانا هالله حريسو مبلع زخل.
The people of Tigray, especially those from Western Tigray, who once had homes, farms, food and wealth, who contributed meaningfully to the country's growth, are now starving and dying, even with money in their pockets. Mothers wander in search for help. Some have children in Sudan, while they remain here in Tigray, separated for years in a land still called their own.
In every IDP camp, displaced people live with fading hope. Their suffering has outgrown their dreams. They endure unbearable daytime heat and freezing nights on empty stomachs, constantly wondering when they will return home. Packed into overcrowded tents, they rely on the charity of others just to survive.
Look at what we are eating. We used to feed ourselves and live in our own homes. Now we're living in unhealthy conditions, with sick family members and children in these makeshift shelters. We survive by begging and eating stale food. My son, I'm telling you, our situation is desperate.
فودي ورا زمو تم زاركا دانا انا نغير جست زاركا يودان بتعم خفينا ايو عدنا توسدنا نمرص عدنا نمرص تخونلنا
مچم هزب مقله زغير يابو طميام تبهال تلو انجر حنغيرو انج ما يحغيرو خدان ناتون كدان ناتخينا نخدلنا يمص سلام هزب مقله بقى
يوم تفرالي انجوتاتنا حبورنا نيرم انجوغون مريرو وحمشت عامت.
Various NGOs supported us in the past, but after 5 long years, they have withdrawn. Now we are completely abandoned, left without any NGO assistance. People are forced to beg around churches and towns. It's heartbreaking. At one point, there were 26 local and international NGOs operating in the Sawa-Akari camp, both active and inactive, all arriving with their organizational flags. Today, none remain. The displaced community has had to govern itself, establishing its own rules and structures simply to survive, demonstrating admirable discipline. No government representative has shown up to inquire about our condition. This neglect is the result of the total absence of governmental oversight. We are facing a range of serious challenges. The situation is deteriorating rapidly. Humanitarian aid is insufficient, medical support is lacking, and the shelter conditions are worsening. Chronic illness like diabetes and hypertension are spreading unchecked due to a lack of medication. So far, we have lost 37 individuals to various causes. Without immediate support, the rest may perish slowly. There are 62,000 internally displaced persons in Aksum. They have now endured 5 rainy seasons. Within 6 camps located in areas like Maigaba, Qorarit, and Walqait, the suffering is intense. You've seen it with your own eyes. Many are gravely ill. In this single month of April, it has rained multiple times. We've visited several times, but always returned disheartened because we are powerless to help. Since humanitarian aid was suspended on February, 8 people, 2 of them children, have died of hunger. There is no access to clean water, medical facilities, or functioning toilets. The existing toilets are overflowing and unusable. We are overwhelmed, especially those of us in the IDP camps. No one seems to be paying attention to our plight. Why are we being ignored? Food aid has been reduced from 15 kilograms to 9 kilograms, and even this limited portion is distributed at long intervals. People suffer from hunger and extreme temperatures. The international community needs to understand the severity of our situation. If there are global voices advocating for human rights, they must speak up for us. Living in tents for 5 years without proper shelter, in heat by day and cold by night, is inhuman. A government that ignores the suffering of its people should be deeply ashamed. Our leaders must urgently prioritize this crisis.
The crisis in Tigray is complex and devastating. On one front, people are displaced by invading forces, violence, and face starvation and days, despite the Pretoria Agreement. On the other, those who remain in areas controlled by invading forces endure imprisonment, killings, and beatings.
Displacement has affected everyone, those who fled and those who stayed. The latter live under constant fear, torture, and incarceration. Over the past 4 years, almost everyone has been imprisoned or abused. Even release from captivity comes at a price. You must sell your ox or cow to pay the ransom. Without that, there is no justice, no investigation, no hope for release. Whether displaced or still residing in the area, the people of Western Tigray share the same suffering. Innocent lives are being taken for tribal reasons. People are killed simply for making eye contact. I experienced this myself. I lost my eldest son, a well-educated healthcare professional and a resident of that region, on March 16, 2024. I raised him with great care, and now he's gone. Many others have faced similar tragedies. Western Tigray is in crisis, deprived of justice, peace, and family unity. Families are torn apart. Those still in their homeland suffer silently, while those displaced live in misery from Dadabit and Shararo to Maqala. Even those who remained in their homes lack peace. They cannot access or manage their property, receive health care, or live under the rule of law. For example, authorities recently claimed that prisoners had escaped, yet they hadn't. Such claims are made to justify violence due to the absence of proper administration. People suffer in silence because democracy is non-existent. They cannot even obtain basic identification documents. Whether inside or outside their homes, all are in grave danger. The people have remained resilient. To me, there is no distinction between someone who dropped a bomb in Shire and someone who aided the enemy in Western Tigray by throwing a stone. They are equally responsible. Those who resisted in Tagada, Humera, or carried a weapon here, and those who provided information are all part of the same struggle.
The silent suffering and deaths of displaced people from Western Tigray who survived the mass atrocities continue today. This is why IDPs look to the federal government, the signatories of the Pretoria Agreement, international negotiators, and the global community to facilitate their return home.
እንድሕር ክምልሰና ኮይኑ ብትክክል ቅድሚ ክረምቲ ቅድሚ ጭቃ ቅድሚ ማይ ቅድሚ ቆልዑ ቃል ሓፈይ ዘፈይ ሒዝና ኢና ቅድሚ እንድሕር ክሰደና ኮይኑ ሰደና እንተ ኮይኑ እዩ ትምኒት እዩ በቃ ተይኮነ መኪና እንተ መጻታ ኣነ ኣምን ምስሩን መኪና መጽያ እንተ ተቆልተ ተሃለ ዝኣምን ሰብ የለን ከም ሰባት እውን ካብዞ ዝን ከርፈ ሓናብራ እግር መትከለ ህዩ መጽለሊና ሰሪሑ ገዛታት መቸም የለን ገዛታት ተወሪሱ እዩ ኣብ እንዳሃለና እዩ ተጸይሩ ኸይዱ ካብኣ ማይና ሕክምናና ንወልዖ ንሰትዮ እግር መትከል ድማ እዚአን ንሕርሻኹም እዚአን ኢሉ ክኽለና ኣለዎ ከም ሰባት ማለት እዩ ከም ሰባት ኣምላኽ ግን ናው ይብቃና ክንርዮ ንቀደም እምበር ንሕና ተስፋ ገርና ነና ቀድሚ ክረምቲ ያኸዱ እዮም ታይለታ ማይ ግን ትፈርሰላ ያ
አበለኹም ድሓናዳ ኣለኹም ኢሎምና ዘይፈጡ መንግስትስ
No one has come to ask about our condition. It's encouraging to hear that Tadessa Werde will facilitate our return. But when will that happen? The government has never come to hear our struggles firsthand. If it did, we might believe it exists. Please help share the voice of the people. Failing to act on promise only brings shame. If people are allowed to return, they will rebuild their lives with determination. But if food aid is scarce, at the very least, shelter must be improved. Many tents are leaking due to recent rains. Even collecting plastic sheets from wealthier donors would help. The government must urgently provide food, as the current shortages are worsening an already critical situation for IDPs. We urgently call on the responsible authorities to visit us, understand our situation, and work toward a solution that returns us to our homes. We are enduring immense suffering, and we fear we won't survive the upcoming rainy season. Flooding has intensified our hardship. Strong winds are destroying our tents, as if nature itself is urging us to return. Yet no one is facilitating our return. The world must be made aware of our situation. Even animals have guardians, yet we are left unprotected. We had hoped to return last year during the month of June, but that opportunity passed. Now another June has come, and still we remain here, waiting.
زودي كفينا يزلو يموت يزلو سب حزبي بطميتن بصمعتن يموت يزلو العام السبيت زودي يا خاتكم دقفونا كفينا نموت لنا بطميتن بصمعتن نموت لنا
This always happens when the rainy season begins. Despite our personal pain, the top priority should be the return of the IDPs and the restoration of Tigray's territorial integrity. The Pretoria Agreement must be fully implemented. All stakeholders such as the federal and regional governments, civil society, and international actors must apply pressure to ensure this happens.
نحن قطبتا انت خوين غزانا وسدنا غزانا ملسنا حرسنا نولعلو حفيسنا نولعلو شدنا زغدفنا لعدنا وسدنا እዚኣ ዘይትኸውን ተኾይና ድማ ናብ ንቁጥበታ ዘለዎ ናብ ነፋሻ ዘለዎ ቦታ ናብ ጽላል ዘለዎ ቦታ ናብ ሞቕ ዘለዎ ቦታ ሕሙም ዝድቁሰሉ ቦታ ውሰድና ስድራስዋት ሕሙማት እሩግ ህፃውንቲ ንረግፈለና እዚኣ ንረግፈለና ጠሪዕና ሰምዕና ሲኢና
ኣብዚ እንተኸሪምና ማ ሞይትና ወልና ዝወፅእ ቆልዓ የብልና ዝወፅእ ሓራስ የብልና ዝወፅእ ጥንስቲ የብልና
ብሰንኩ ቁርኢና ንሓምን ዘለና ብስሩ ሁሉ ደቂስ ዘሎ መብዛሕትኡ ዘሎ
We are falling ill due to the cold. Most people here are too weak to move. If we cannot be returned home, we at least deserve to be relocated to a better environment. Given the chance to return, we wouldn't just help ourselves, we would help others too. People are getting sick. There are no medical supplies. Malaria and other illnesses are spreading. Children are dying. We call on the Tigrayan diaspora to be our voice. We left behind our land and property, and now we are suffering. Please help return us home. The relevant authorities must act urgently. The immediate solution is to return the displaced people of Western Tigray to their homes. The interim administration, federal government, and peace negotiators must cooperate to make this happen. These are people who once fed others. They should not be left to beg under open skies. The return must happen before the rainy season, as this area becomes waterlogged and uninhabitable. Until the return, adequate aid, clean water, and medicine must be provided to the IDPs. This tent cannot withstand another rainy season. We want to return to our farmland, our homes, and our communities. If there is indeed a functioning government, it must provide a solution. Survivors of ethnic cleansing are crying out for help, demanding to return to the land they helped build. Why is the world silent? Why are the so-called nations and nationalities failing to speak out or take action? Forced to abandon their homes and a lifetime of wealth, these people now wander the roads, dispossessed, talking to themselves, leaving behind fertile soil, homes, businesses, water sources, irrigation systems, and crops that could feed others. The people of Western Tigray are the ones dying, some from hunger, others from the lack of medical care. It's heartbreaking.
As each year passes and another rainy season arrives, the displaced are given unfulfilled promise to return home soon. Yet, they continue to suffer through wind, cold, hunger, disease, and days. Now, entering their fifth rainy season in displacement, the critical question remains if they will return to their homeland before winter or be forced again to endure the rain and mud. If mediators, negotiators, and international observers continue to neglect this crisis and no urgent solution is provided, will those people still be alive tomorrow or reclaim their lives? This is the painful and unresolved question facing every Tigrayan today.